It's Gosh. I hope you're having an amazing day. I thought I will follow up on a video I did last week, which I thought would be a beginning of a series of body shapes. I started with short ladies, or the ladies that want to focus on making their body look slimmer and thinner. So that's the last video, to which link I will post below. You can go back to check that one out. But today I thought we'll discuss apple shape, since I figured a lot of ladies struggle with adding volume around the tummy area. However, you can add volume around tummy area and be different body shapes as well. I also want to say that most ladies are a combination of different shapes, so sometimes not sometimes, but I think it'll be difficult for you to follow the whole series to basically figure out your shape. But if you are apple shape, keep on watching. What is apple shape to start with? Apple shape, lady, or I mean, there's different names for it, but basically we're going to focus this video on someone who's wider on the upper body, so the bust is full and the tummy can be fuller. However, these ladies usually have killer legs, so there is obviously a lot positives to focus on, and I'm gonna give you things that you must definitely do and some stuff that you probably should be avoiding. And once you are in the know, this is going to be so much more fun for you to dress and choose new outfits when you shopping. I've got a little notes here because I don't want to forget all the things I want to mention to you. So to start with, the whole idea of dressing an apple shaped body is all about balancing and, you know, adding volume where there is a little bit of less, and it's always about looking at the whole posture and the whole silhouette as one piece, and then focusing on how to even everything and make it look most appealing. So the focus will here be on accentuating the positives within the body, and usually for body type apple shape, the killer legs are a huge thing that we can focus on and accentuate and show off, but also quite nice arms and a full bust. So there's lots to focus on. Basically, the biggest thing to try to balance and put in the background is the tummy area. So there's lots of things that you should be doing, and a lot of do's that I want to focus on first. First of all, I think everyone, but especially someone with this body shape, should focus on a well fitted bra and generally well fitted underwear. We can also go for shapewear, which is very popular. Some of them can be very uncomfortable. I think it's very important to get guidelines and go to the shops that make you do the fitting for you and advise particularly for your body shape, rather than just something that I know I've done in the past myself, trying to, you know, trial and error, and you buy one pair of shapewear that's super hot and super stiff, and sometimes it's better to just get advice on that. But it's very, very helpful to have a piece that shapes you nicely, especially for those beautiful dresses that you want to wear, and it just makes you look more amazing, but feel more comfortable sometimes. But a bra is something that you definitely will start with, because this is something that most of us wear every day. So make sure that the bra you're wearing is well fitted. It's not the one that kind of clinches into your shoulders. You should not be feeling any pressure here. It should be well fitted under the bust. It should really cover the whole of your breast. It's not something that should be getting your breasts out, but this is just a couple of things to bear in mind. Like I said, go to the shops that make the fitting, and you will be supervised through the process. Another important thing, now talking about the whole silhouette as one thing, is combining textures, different textures, or like plain fabrics with prints. So again, I think I mentioned a little bit of that in some of my different videos, but if you haven't watched, I think most people know now, but it's very important to remind yourselves that let's just say your legs are super thin and beautiful, you can, I would say, add some textures and fabric around the skirt. Let's just say you're wearing a mini skirt, because you can very much show off those legs, so go for a mini skirt. I would advise one with some ruffles and textures, so maybe not the one that goes very tight around your bum, because it would again accentuate how narrow you may be, but something that can maybe add some volume and balance the wider belly. But then on the upper body, I would use a plain fabric and something a little bit, you know, to the background, so maybe a darker color to balance the whole thing out and make it a little bit more interesting. Speaking of which, one of the no's and one of the things to avoid, which was one of the things that the short ladies should do, but if you an apple body shape, it's probably not the best for you to wear one color, the whole everything one color, because it's all about illusions and breaking body into kind of parts and just almost confusing the eye a little bit. Speaking of that, I can maybe say that a coat is a very important piece of a wardrobe, and I think if you're in Scotland, everyone needs to have coats and jackets, because we literally cannot live without them. So jackets are quite tricky for apple shape, and a lot of jackets and a lot of, if they thicker, can be making you look bigger and adding volume up here. However, very well tailored jacket would be a great idea, and the one that is fitted around the waist almost create the illusion of a waist that you don't always maybe have, and the ones with like a belt or pin in a place of the waist. However, not too tight, not too loose. It really needs to be fitted and nicely tailored. Speaking of coats, it's lovely to have a coat that's definitely not longer than knee length is probably the best. If it's longer than knee length, only if you are super tall, you can afford to wear one below the knee length. And when I was talking about the one color, it's probably best if you have a coat that will be contrasting with whatever else you're wearing under, and worn open will be absolutely beautiful. It's a great tool you can do when you're an apple shape, to kind of, you know, make one line here, and you're basically creating like 3 dimensions. When someone looks at you, they'll have those lines up and down, so it will attract the eye up and down, which is a slimming kind of a trick. But then having it maybe darker on the sides and some lovely fabric in the middle. And that's one of the things that you can do. Speaking of dresses, I would say wrap dresses are generally one of the best things to buy for anybody, but especially for someone who's maybe rounded around the tummy. However, for body shape, apple shape, it's absolutely beautiful, because you have the quite wide V-neck that can beautifully accentuate the fuller bust. It will wrap around the tummy in a nice way that will not bring it out or make it any fuller, but it actually will make it smaller. And then it kind of just goes A shape usually at the bottom, which creates this balanced idea of the whole body. The same goes for some shirts. Actually, you can buy wrap shirts, which is again a good idea, because another don't for an apple shape is buttons. So you know that if you want to have a killer white shirt, which we all should really have in our wardrobe because it's one of the most versatile pieces, for apple shape the best one would be the wrap one that you can wrap around, rather than to avoid any buttons around right in the middle of the tummy, because that will always add volume. Speaking of buttons, we'll now go straight to the trousers. And actually trousers with zips or any sort of fastening on a side are a go-to for apple shape. I would again advise against any buttons in the middle, because they will accentuate the tummy. And even more so the ones that I see a lot of ladies with trousers, or even worse, skinny jeans on apple shaped bodies when they will fasten their jeans right under the tummy, which just brings out all the volume. And it's one of the things to really avoid. I know skinny jeans seem like a go-to for most of the ladies, but actually for an apple shaped flared jeans and flared or even straight trousers, that's much better. And I know you have the killer legs, so if you really have to do skinny jeans, make sure that the zippers on the side, they probably higher waist, so they wrap your tummy nicely. And I would probably go for lighter color. I wouldn't say to add volume, but just to balance the bigger upper body. So think again about the colors and textures and how to combine that. Again, in terms of accessories, maybe it's actually lovely for because I wouldn't say avoid attracting any sort of attention to the upper body. It's the stomach that's the trouble for apple shape. However, the fuller bust and actually lovely arms most of the time are one of the things that you should probably attracting the attention to, with moderation, obviously. When I say attract attention to the bust, I don't say put it all out there. I say, you know, just nice wide v-neck or off the shoulders top, lovely big earrings to attract the attention to your lovely neck and the bust, or a nice statement earring. Anything you can do to attract the attention here, rather than maybe belts and things that would attract the attention to the to your tummy. I think I mentioned most of it. So just to recap generally, I think what we can say is that the apple shape ladies are absolutely blessed with killer legs, and that's what they should focus their attention and appreciation towards. But also beautiful busts, beautiful arms. So the only thing really mostly to focus on and try to avoid is attracting attention around the tummy. Focus on wrapping the tummy nicely with good fabrics, but not buttons, rather zips on the side again. And just appreciate you for where you are, because you really are beautiful. I think that's what I always try to say. The shape is just something that gives you a little bit of guidance, and people like me are there to guide you through how to know what to put in your wardrobe, and consequently to what to put on yourself, what to wear. But there is always so much fun to be had. Even though you might not look like the mannequin in the shop, remember the mannequin looks like nobody in the real life, really. So yeah, I hope this is helpful for you guys. I'm trying to put as much in those videos, but also not to make them too long. I'm still wondering what I'm going to do about the next body shape. Please let me know if you have requests and I will look into it. Otherwise, have an amazing day, guys. I love you. Bye.